This is day 2 of solving equations. If we look at number 1, you can see that they are color-coded. Some are pink and some are yellow. So the ones with the pink are the ones that have the variable with it, and the ones that are yellow are just the regular numbers that do not have a variable next to it. So the first step is to label our sides. One side is going to be the variable side, and the other side is going to be the number side, which are the numbers without variables. So let's look at our variables. We have a positive 6x and a positive 8x. So the 8 is bigger, so I know that the right side is going to be my variable side, and the left side is going to be my number side. So I need to get all of my variables to the right side and all of the numbers to the left side. So I already have 8x underneath the variable side. You can notice that the color matches. So now I need to look at the left side. Positive 6x has a variable, so I need it to go to the right side. In order to bring it across an equal sign, I need to do the opposite. So the opposite of a positive 6x is a negative 6x. So I'm going to subtract 6x on both sides. Remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So these are called zero pairs, and they're going to cancel. I'm going to bring down the 15. I'm going to bring down the 45. And then I have positive 8 minus 6, which is going to be a positive 2x. Okay, so now I have all of my variables underneath the variable side. Notice there are not any x's over here. So now I need to get all of my numbers that don't have variables underneath this side. So we can notice that this 15 is yellow, it's under the correct side. However, this 45 is not under the number side, it's yellow, so it needs to come over to the other side. So I have a positive 45. In order to move it, I need to do the opposite, which is a negative 45 on both sides. These are going to cancel. I'm going to bring down my 2x. And then I have 15 minus 45. One is positive, one is negative. When the signs are different, I'm going to subtract. When I subtract, I get 30. And then since 45 is the bigger number and 45 is negative, my answer is going to be negative 30. Negative 30 does not have a variable, so I'm going to color it yellow. And then I'm going to color my number with the variable pink. So now I have negative 30 equals 2x. I still want that x by itself. So this is 2 times x. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 would be to divide by 2. I can cross these out because 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I'm just left with x equals negative 30 divided by 2 is negative 15. So x is equal to negative 15. Number 2, again, I have color-coded those with a variable and the ones without a variable. So now let's label our sides. I've got negative 2 and 3 next to the variable. 3 is bigger, so this side is going to be my variable side, and the left side is going to be my number side. So now I want to get all of my variables over here. So I know that I want this x to come over to the other side. When I move it across the equal sign, I have to do the opposite. So the opposite of a negative 2 is a positive 2x. These are going to cancel. I'm going to bring down the plus 1. And then I have 3 plus 2, which is 5x. And then I'm going to bring down the positive 16. So I'm going to color code my variables pink. And the numbers without a variable are going to be yellow, just like how we started. Now I have all of my variables underneath the variable side. Now I want to bring my numbers to the other side, underneath the number side. So I'm going to move this positive 16 because it's on the wrong side. It's under the variable side. So I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to subtract 16 to both sides. These are going to cancel. I'm going to bring down the 5x, and then I have positive 1 minus 16. So just like we did in number 1, these are different signs. So when they are different, you subtract. 16 minus 1 is 15. 16 is a bigger number, and 16 is negative. Therefore, the 15 is going to be negative. Now I have separated my colors. I have separated the numbers without a variable and the numbers with a variable. Now I can solve the equation. So I've got 5 times x. So the opposite of multiplying by 5 would be to divide 5 on both sides. Remember, you're always going to divide by the number that is next to the variable. So over here, the 2 is next to the variable, so I divided by 2. The 5 is next to the variable, so I'm going to divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is just 1, so I'm left with just x. And then negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. So x is equal to negative 3. Number 3, let's label our sides. So I've got 5x and 3x, so I know that my left side is the variable side because 5 is bigger. Then I have my number side. So I want to get all of my variables over here, since that's my variable side. I've got positive 3x. So I'm going to undo it. I'm doing the opposite of negative 3x. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. These are going to cancel. I'm going to bring down the positive 5. I'm going to bring down the positive 1. And then 5x minus 3x is 2x. So now I have 2x plus 1 equals 5. So now I want all of my numbers that don't have a variable over here. So that means I want to move this positive 1 to the other side. So I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. The 1s are going to cancel. I'm going to bring down the 2x, and then I have 5 minus 1, which is 4. Now I have 2x equals 4, so I want to divide both sides by 2, or the number that is next to the x. So divided by 2, my 2's are going to cross out because 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So I'm left with x equals 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So x equals 2. Last example, I'm going to label my variable side. So I've got negative 3n and negative 5n. Negative 3n is bigger, so this is my variable side, and this is my number side. So I want to bring my variable from this side over so that it's underneath the variable side. So this is a negative 5n, so the opposite would be a positive 5n. My 5's are going to cancel. I'm going to bring down negative 7. I'm going to bring down my positive 3. And then I've got negative 3 plus 5. So these signs are different. One is a negative, one is a positive. So when the signs are different, you subtract. So I've got 5 minus 3, which is 2n. The 5 is bigger and the 5 is positive. Therefore, my 2 is going to be positive. Now I've got all of my variables underneath the variable side. Notice I only have pink on the left side and it's under the pink variable side. Now my numbers, the ones that do not have variables, those are on two different sides. They need to all be underneath the number side. So I want to move my +3 over to the other side. So the opposite of a +3 is a -3. My 3's are going to cancel. I'm going to bring down my 2n. Then I have -7 and a -3. Those signs are the same. They're both negative. When signs are the same, you add. So 7 plus 3 is 10. And since they're both negative, my answer is going to stay a negative. Now that I have my variables and my numbers separate, I can divide both sides by 2, the number that is next to the variable. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. My 2's can cross out because 2 divided by 2 is just 1. I'm left with n equals -10 divided by 2. It's going to be a -5. Remember, anytime you are dividing, adding, subtracting, or multiplying, you can use your calculator.